Hey guys, it's Carolina here from KarolinasKrafts and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to do the tutorial for this album. If you guys want to see the full project share flip through, that is going to be linked down below. But today we're going to do the tutorial for this. I'm not going to flip through all the elements in here, but it's going to be the tutorial part now. So one of my goals for this year is to do a tutorial every single month. Me and Tiffany are no longer doing Scrappy Christmas Crafts this year. She said she just has too much on her plate and she signed up for too many design teams and other things like that and just cannot commit to Scrappy Christmas Crafts. So I'm still doing it as my goal to still put up a new tutorial every single month. However, a thing that I am going to do different is, like with the Scrappy Christmas Craft series, I was doing the cutting guides for free and just asking for a possible coffee donation. This time, with all of these new tutorials, I will have a cutting guide available, but you're just going to have to pay for it because now that this is my full-time job, I just need to make some money too. So the cutting guide is available for this album in case you guys want to just purchase that. It's just a few dollars and then download it. You guys can do that. But without further ado, let's get into the tutorial so you guys can make a cute little mini album too. Okay, so first up, you're going to need 2 pieces of chipboard that measure 8 inches by 6.5. This is a landscape style album, as you guys could see here. My intention with this was to use up a lot of my 6x6 cut-aparts. Now, if you don't have 6x6 cut-aparts, that's okay. You don't have to do 6x6 cut-aparts like I did here. You could just do another patterned paper, and that's totally fine. But I had a lot of 6x6 cut-aparts in the collection that I was working with, so I decided to make an album to be able to use up some of those. So that's what I did. So 2 pieces of 8 by 6.5, and then you're also going to need 1 piece that measures 1.5 by 6.5, and I'm just using some medium weight chipboard here. I get mine from a variety of different places, usually wherever is cheaper, but I have gotten it from Walmart, Joann's, and Amazon as well. So I'm gonna link it down below, whatever is cheapest at the moment of me filming this video. I will link my chipboard that I use down below. So I'm also gonna take some score tape, you guys, and I'm just going to put it right down here so that I could connect these 2 pieces of 8.5 by 11 cardstock together. I am using 65 pound weight cardstock. Generally, when I do all of my albums, I do 65 pound weight cardstock. And if you do not use wet glue to add your pattern paper, let's say you're using like ATG tape, then I would do 110 pound cardstock or 100 pound, 87 pound, something thicker than 65 pound weight. But because I glue on both sides with pattern paper, my glue, like the paper kind of hardens as I glue things down to it. So I'm not worried about sturdiness because it hardens and it feels super sturdy after. So that's just what I do. But all of my paper right now that I'm using, the cardstock is from Michaels. It is 65 pound weight black cardstock, and I could have that linked down below as well. Also, you guys, I know there is some of you that are on a subscription on my Ko-fi page, which is where you could find the cutting guide. It's still on my Ko-fi. There's just a shop button there. At the top, you guys will see a shop button. Oops, I meant to do that on the other side. So there's a shop button there, and from there you can find the cutting guide. I'll have the link also just down below. But some of you guys are subscribed to have recurring monthly kind of like support donations. If you guys want to cancel that, I totally understand. But make sure you go into your Ko-fi page and then cancel that, so that you guys aren't charged further if you don't want to keep making monthly donations. Obviously, any support is still appreciated for all the videos that I do give you guys for free and all the projects that I do share with you guys and inspiration and all that stuff. But again, totally up to you. So I now have my connected 2 pieces of 65 pound weight cardstock. I am going to take this piece, the 1.5 by 6.5, and I'm just going to take all of the tape off of it. And when I attach this, I want this to not be directly over where the two pieces connect. So obviously I have some left over. Let me just show you guys like this. So I'm probably gonna put it somewhere like this, right? So that that piece is in the middle where it overlaps. So again, yeah, something like this. And I'm trying to leave approximately an inch at the top and then an inch at the bottom. I think I have a little bit more actually, because this is 8.5 and this is 6.5. So I think I have a little bit more down here, but that's okay. We're going with approximately an inch. Then I like to use this tool. This is from Craftelier. It comes as like a whole entire set with like all the other stuff you might need, with the corner miter tool, also this one to help you put things in straight if you prefer to use that. I just like to use this one and I eyeball it. But that whole set is available on Amazon or from Craftelier's website, but I'm gonna have the Amazon version linked for you guys. I love this. It just, you know, I use it all the time. And there's two different kind of measurements on here. There's a 2mm or there's the 1.5mm. I'm gonna be using the 2mm. So I'm just gonna put that down, and then that's gonna act as my guide for this other chipboard piece. And I'm gonna stand up to put this on so I could see kind of like overhead, make sure I get them lined up evenly. So I'm just gonna go like this, line it up before I stick it down. All right, something that like that. And then I just like to flip this and then move this to this side so then I could add the other piece down. And I used I used a bunch of like double-sided tape here. So I used the 2-inch from Scrapbook. I'll link it down below. The 4-inch as well to cover up the backs of my chipboard. And then on top of that, I am using this score tape. This one is from Amazon for like that thinner one. And I think that's, I want to say it's 3/8 of an inch. It's not quite half an inch. Okay, so I'm gonna place that down. And now we're done with this piece, but I love it. It's a great guide. And then I'm gonna go in with some 1-inch tape. So the tape that I'm using, let me find it, hold on. So the tape I'm using is from scrapbook.com, and I guess it's approximately like 1 inch, right? Well, I just like to add in one whole layer or one whole piece of tape around the borders of my chipboard on the cardstock, and whatever is left over, I am just going to cut off the rest of that black cardstock. So I'm only going to keep where the tape is, and then I'm just going to cut off with some scissors the rest of it, because we don't need all that. We don't need that extra. Okay, so that is stuck down. And like I said, I'm just gonna go in with my scissors now. So all of this extra, I'm just gonna cut off. And I'm not a good cutter at all, you guys. It's okay though. As long as I generally have most of the tape that I just put down, as long as most of it is still there, it's okay. All right, so now I have this. I'm going to miter my corners, so I'm putting this other piece up here. It's just a corner miter tool. If you don't have one of those, you just want to make sure you leave like 1/8 of an inch between your chipboard and where you cut off this paper. This is just going to help you fold it, get rid of some of that bulk, but you could see you just need to leave some space there. I just like to use the miter tool because it just has saved me so many times in not having to then fix any albums, because when I have tried to eyeball it, I always cut it too short, you guys. And then I end up having to fix it and glue pieces back together so that you can't see the chipboard, and so I just always use this. I'm not a good eyeballer. Clearly we could see that with how straight my lines are here with cutting. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and start folding the tops in. So I'm gonna peel back my tape, or peel off my tape from one section at a time, and I'm gonna start folding this over my chipboard, and I'm just gonna work it in by moving it back and forth, pressing down against my desk. So moving back and forth, kind of working it in before I press down completely. And then flip it over and make sure that is burnished. While you're here, also tuck in these corners. So you're just gonna press down with your bone folder. Just tuck in those corners. And then you're gonna flip and do the opposite side. Same idea, peel back your tape. And you're just gonna work in the paper against your desk before you press down completely, and that just kind of helps prevent some of the cracking. Though sometimes it's inevitable with the cracking. It really depends on the paper that you are using. I have found that, actually, I do see some cracking right here, so that's not cool. I have found, though, generally with my 65-pound cardstock from Michaels, generally I don't have cracking, but I am seeing some cracking right here. You guys could see it's a little sticking out right there, but we're gonna fix it before we continue with this album. So I'm just taking my Barely Art Glue. This is the glue that I always use, you guys. And if you guys want to get any Barely Art Glue, I have a coupon you guys could use. So it's Carolina for 10% off your order off their website. If you get it on Amazon, I'll have that link down below too, but you can't use the coupon on Amazon. So you could see this kind of split here a little bit. I'm just going to add in a little bit of my glue here. Well, that was more, I pressed harder than I should have, but it's okay. So, because this is all going to get covered up anyway, but I just want to work that paper back in the direction that it's supposed to go, so that it doesn't continue to crack further, and that is totally fine. It's usually where, if it does crack, it's usually where I connected the seams, which is exactly there. The other side, actually, the side has a little bit of cracking too. Not as bad, but if it's gonna crack, that's usually where it's gonna crack. So I'm just putting a little bit of glue. And this is also the same glue that I use to glue down all of my papers and everything, just with a different tip usually. I usually use a larger tip when I'm working with like bigger pieces of paper, so I just use like the thicker tip. So yes, this is the glue that I use all the time. I know you guys ask me all the time. It's always linked down below, and I just feel like I don't mention it enough in my videos, so I'm trying to be better with mentioning it and pointing it out so you guys know, because even though I mention like paper collections and what I'm using, I still have people asking what I am using, like what paper collection. So I'm just trying to be very specific in mentioning all the things that I do use so that you guys can get them too if you guys are looking for new things, whether you're looking for new glue or new magnets that you guys are going to see me put in soon. Well, eventually, once I get to doing the actual base pages. So then you guys could see I'm just taking off this tape here on the other sides, and I'm just kind of working that in. It's kind of hard to do on camera because this is just about as tall as my camera is up high, which is literally just my phone. I film everything on my phone. Okay, So I have that, and I'm just gonna press down around this chipboard here so that this can fold. Don't press down too hard. It's gonna fold regardless. It's just one piece of 65-pound weight cardstock there, and that's everything for that so far. So then for your hinge, you're gonna need a piece that measures 7.5 inches wide by 6 inches tall. And again, this is all in the cutting guide if you guys would like to purchase that. So then here, you on the 7.5 inch side, you're gonna score at 2 inches, 2 3/4, 3.5, 4, 4 3/4, and then 5.5. I'm just gonna leave this temporarily up there while I do some further, well, I guess some gluing actually. So I'm gonna flip this over. This is where the way that I scored it, but I'm gonna flip it over and I'm gonna start attaching some tape. So the bigger pieces are my hinges. So I'm just gonna add some tape there so that those pieces can fold into each other. I don't think I could fit two, no. And then I'm gonna add in one piece in the middle. So that's not where paper is gonna get added, that just gets glued to the back. And then I'm also gonna take my 1/4 inch tape to fill in some of that space here. So these sections here for where your papers are gonna go are 3/4 of an inch. So I'm putting the slightly less than 1/2 inch with a 1/4 inch tape here to get those filled up. Okay, so again, these two right here are gonna fold, these two right here are gonna fold into each other. This piece right here is gonna get glued down to the base. These two fold into each other, and then these outside pieces also get glued down to the base. But I'm also just gonna put some tape on there as well so that I have this piece all ready for me to go. So again, I'm just gonna use my 2 inch tape now. Where is my large bone folder? Okay, I mean, I think this is not even a bone folder, but I use it as one. Or kind of just like to help me with the tearing. It's from scrapbook.com. And then I'm gonna add some tape here. Okay, and then the last thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna flip this back over, and everywhere where these hinges are gonna kind of fold into each other, these 3/4 inch pieces, I'm gonna add in my slightly smaller than 1/2 inch tape at the tops of them. So they're gonna fold like that. On this side at the top, I'm gonna add tape, and then on this side on the top, I'm gonna add tape. So on both sides, on both hinges as well. Because that's where the pages are gonna get added. And I always like to leave some space at the bottom. I don't add my hinges, I don't add my pages all the way down. Because then it makes it harder for them to lay flatter, and also harder to use some elements in albums if you put it down too far. All right, I'm gonna clean up a little, get some pieces out of the way. Okay, so I'm gonna now peel this back so that those two can combine and connect. Okay, I'm gonna peel this one this way. That's gonna get glued down to the album there. And then this is that hinge, so then we moved it again the other way. Then we're folding again towards me. Yep. Okay, and then this next piece is gonna go away from me. So they're just gonna go together to each other. And then I can take this tape off. Wait, it's this one right here. So those can get glued together. And then this one on the end is just gonna go back again. Okay, so this is what you have, something that looks like this, and you could work in your hinges a little bit, make sure they fold in all the directions. You're also going to do this again once you do glue it down. And before we do glue it down, I'm gonna miter these corners a little bit so that my pages can go on nicely. So I'm just cutting out a little triangle from that score line to the top on both of these hinges. Okay. So now you're gonna attach this into your album. It's gonna go right in the center. You can eyeball this, you can measure it. I usually just eyeball, but if you're gonna go lean towards more way, then lean more towards the beginning. As you guys can see here, my first signature is not nearly as thick as my second signature. So if you're gonna leave more space, it's gonna be in the back. You want more space and less space in the front, but I tried to make it as even as possible. That wasn't intentional. Okay, so I'm gonna fold back any tape overhang, if there is any, as I'm taking this tape off, which I have a little bit. And then I am going to reinforce this with some glue as well. So this is a larger piece. I'm gonna use my thicker top. And I'm just gonna put glue in between there, and then also where I have the tape. Just double secure this. I don't want to go too crazy though, because I don't want glue seeping out, though I probably will have some glue seeping out anyway. Oh, I still have some tape overhang here. Okay. All right, so now I'm gonna start putting this down. Again, I'm gonna eyeball where this should go. And you also want this in the center of your album. So make sure you have the same amount of space top and bottom. I think that looks pretty good. I think I have some more space on this side, but it's okay. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and burnish. Trying to not move the camera too much. And you're also going to work these in, flip them back and forth a couple of times, make sure they're all good. Okay, so now I have those hinges in there, and I'm just going to press down again where that crease line is for the covers to kind of fold up. So I'm just pressing in a little bit, and then I'm going to lift up that cover and put my bone folder in there, kind of working that in, but do this lightly because you don't want to poke a hole in it. So don't use the very tip of your bone folder either. I have poked holes before, it's not fun. And then same thing here. And yeah, you could hear like crackling of like my tape as of right now, but that will go away eventually. Once you have like other paper on there and everything is sturdy and glued down, that paper doesn't like crackle anymore. So right now you still hear some crackling, but as you can see here, there's no crackling at all. Okay, so that's just right now. All right, so just make sure that's good. I do have, you could see a little bit more space on this side, which is fine. That's gonna be my second signature, and that's just kind of what happens if you're eyeballing it like me, and that's totally okay. Like, that is not a big deal, and that's where I'd rather have more space. Now, if you have more space on the other side, accidentally, it's okay. Just flip it, and then you're gonna work with it this way instead. But mine worked out this way just fine. Okay, so now we're gonna get started on our base pages, and then we're gonna build off of that. But first, let's make the 2 base pages for the 2 signatures that we're gonna have. So you're gonna need 2 pieces of cardstock that measure 7.5 by 6 inches. And then you're also going to need 2 pieces of cardstock that measure 7.5 by 7 inches. And then on the 7-inch side, you're gonna score at 1/2 inch on both sides. So you can see I have 2 score lines on each one of those pages. So you're gonna take one of each. Okay, this you don't have to do any scoring with. This one has the 2 score lines. You can see it has, you know, it's a little bit bigger than this one. Go ahead and fold on those score lines. And this is just gonna get glued down on top of this. So I'm gonna flip this over actually. I'll have the writing facing out. And I'm just gonna put some glue. I just covered up my thin glue, so now I'm trying to use a light hand with my thicker glue. Okay, I'm gonna put these down against the table, make sure they kind of align before I press down the rest. And you still have some wiggle room, like if one page is a little bit bigger than the other. I think mine might be actually just a little bit, yep. I have a little bit of overhang, then you're just gonna cut some off. I have a little bit of overhang as you guys could see, and that's okay. We'll cut that off in a second. And then, so I have that page glued down. It's not the way that I wanted to glue that either. I wanted this facing out. And the reason I wanted that facing out is actually because if I do end up deciding that I want to insert in here, I don't want the insert to kind of get rubbed around the pencil and then the pencil having some, or then the insert having some pencil marks. You know how lead like smudges? Well, I don't want that. So that's why I wanted it on the outside, but I guess since it's on the inside, we're just gonna erase it. So then I'm adding glue to this other piece here, the other side, and just gonna glue that together. And you're gonna do this with both sheets. So one with the, all right, so I'm gonna keep going and I'm gonna do the second base page again, and just folding along those score lines. And then I'm just gonna glue them together. Okay, so I have a little bit of overhang on this one too, and I'm just gonna kind of cut it off. All right, so let's put one of these aside. We're gonna start off with just the one. If you don't have 6x6 cut aparts, like I said, you could just use regular pattern paper, but if you have smaller cut aparts and you want to use those up, then you maybe want to make your flaps a little bit smaller. But for page 1, you're first going to need a piece that measures 6 inches by 6.5 tall, and then on the 6.5 inch side, you're going to score at 1/2 inch. So I'm going to go ahead and fold that. And this is gonna be like our top flap here. It's gonna go right in the middle. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue that down. And this is for 6x6 cut aparts, but again, you're gonna have to crop them down a little teeny bit, because like the width is 6 inches. And then, yeah, so you're gonna have to do a little bit of cropping, but it was mainly for 6x6. So I went ahead and put that down right there. And then the next piece is gonna go on the side right here. So that piece is gonna measure 6 5/8 inches by 6 inches tall. And on the 6 5/8 inch side, you're gonna score 1/2 inch. So I have my score line there. And again, all this information is in the cutting guide. So you guys can get that, then download, print it out, and you could always refer back to this video. There's a QR code in the cutting guide as well, so that when you guys are making it, you don't have to search my videos. It's already this is already printed for you. You guys don't have to search my videos, and you guys can just use the QR code. And if you have it on your computer saved somewhere there, then you could just click on the clickable link, because there's both. There's a QR code and there's a clickable link. So then I went ahead and I put this down here. Now here, I probably should have done this piece first, because then this piece could have been a little bit higher. You could see this doesn't want to close completely, so I need to do a little bit of trimming here. And I'm gonna do that with my paper cutter. I want to make sure that this is straight when I trim this. Okay, and then I just flipped this so I can trim the other side a little bit. Now just be careful to not trim the other page. So I'm only going up to that score line and just trimming this one a little bit. So now this should fold properly, because both of those are a little trimmed now. And now, see, there we go. Now we can go ahead and fold that. Then the last thing that you're gonna do and add in here is a pocket. So once these are open, there's gonna be a pocket on this side here. So that's gonna measure approximately 7 inches. So it's a little teeny bit shorter than the 7-inch line. I'm gonna show you guys just as an example on my trimmer, just so you guys could see how much shorter it is, but it's honestly just a teeny bit shorter. So there is 7 inches right there, and you can see it's just a little teeny bit shorter. So I'm gonna take this piece on the 7-inch side, approximately 7-inch side. You're gonna score at 1/2 inch on both sides. So do 1/2 inch, flip it, do 1/2 inch again. Then on the 3-inch side, you're gonna score at 1/2 inch as well. Then I'm gonna go ahead and miter these corners, and that just kind of reduces some of the bulk. And you go to fold these corners so that they're not overlapping. And then go ahead and fold. There you go. So this should fit right here. And that's perfect. You also want to make sure that this still closes. So I probably could have done mine a little bit shorter as well. And it really depends on your paper placement. So I'm just gonna make a new slightly smaller score line because I have a little bit overhang. So just make a new score line. And again, if I did this after I did this page, this would have been taller, so it would have been fine. But I feel like it's important for you guys to also see that you can fix things. All right, so that fits perfectly now. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some glue. I switched back to my thinner one. I feel like I have better control with that one on these little tabs. So after you place this down, you again just want to make sure that you are able to close this with no issues. So I'm going to move mine down a teeny bit. I have some space here to still move it down. Before it completely gets placed down. There we go. So it's gonna go like that and like that. Okay, so go ahead and burnish that. And then I'm just gonna add in, sorry, I just hit you guys. I'm gonna add in a piece of tape here. So I'm just using some packing tape, and that's a little teeny bit too long, so I'm gonna cut off a little piece there. And this just kind of helps whatever I put into the pocket to slide in easier. And then go ahead and get that closed up. And normally, if I was gonna do little notches, I wouldn't glue this in yet, but I'm not doing notches in this album. I didn't do it in my other one either, so I'm just not doing it here. I did it on the front and back covers, but I didn't do it on the pages. I don't think I did. Nope, I didn't. Okay, so that's gonna go right there. And then your magnets, you're gonna put down on this top flap here. So I'm using magnets from a shop called Total Element. And I really like them because one, they're cheaper than the basic gray magnets, but two, they're also thinner and they have a lot of options in sizes, in terms of sizes. So I'm gonna link the one that I'm using down below right now. So I have either the 1/2 inch that I'm using or the 3/8 inch. Both of these are linked down below. But for something like this, where I'm doing like a large flap, I wanna put down 2 smaller magnets. Now I could probably actually do the 1/4 inch as well. Maybe I'll do these actually, because I have the 2 on here. I have one here and one here. I did the 3/8 inch, but maybe I'll try the 1/4 inch. I mean, I don't think it really matters for that, but I feel like for something like this, you can do one bigger one in the middle, but then I feel like sometimes the ends kind of lift up. So I'm thinking of 2 smaller ones. And you know what? Let's do the 1/4 inch now. I like the ones that are really thin. These are all the same thinness, which I really like. And I'm just gonna grab 4 of these. Okay, so I think that's 4 magnets right there. And I'm just gonna use little pieces of double-sided tape. Okay, so I'm gonna add in some of my little my little magnet. They're so cute. So actually, hold on, I want one here. So I just got some pieces of tape that I cut up. So I want some down here. I think this is shorter. No. Okay, so I'm gonna have it like down here, I think. And then I'll do another one like right here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and take off that tape. I'm gonna stick down my magnet, take off that piece of tape, and then stick down my other set. Okay, so I'm just gonna stick that down here. All right, so from here, once you have your magnets on there, you can add in another little piece of tape on the tops of these magnets. However, sometimes I feel like the magnets are so strong that they rather go back to the magnet than the tape itself. So I'm gonna just take a piece of tape, my regular like tape, and I'm just gonna do regular like pieces. And what I'm gonna do is put the tape in between here and then let the magnet kind of snap back into place. Okay, so there's that one. Lift this one up, let the magnet snap into place, and then I'm gonna move that piece down, press down around the magnet, and then those will be stuck down. Okay, and then just go in and make sure those are super stuck down, and then that way you don't have any extra like tape hanging around. You could use this at a later date, fill it up at a later date, and nothing is like sticking to each other. And I'm probably gonna add in like a little pull tab like I did on this album as well, to help the person kind of just like open that up. But yeah, so that is that page. Now we're gonna flip this over. So those are there. And like I said, those magnets are gonna be linked in the description box down below. So you guys could get some too. So I'm gonna flip this over now, and now this is gonna be our page 2. So for page 2, you're gonna need 4 pieces that measure 4 5/8 by 6 inches tall. This is gonna be for a 4 by 6 size cut apart for your waterfall. And then on the 4 5/8 inch side, you're gonna score at 1/2 inch on all of them. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those burnished. I have all of mine scored at the 1/2 inch mark. And you could do more than 4 if you'd like. I just did 4 on mine. But you could probably fit like another 2. You could probably do 6 if you wanted to. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start gluing these down. Okay, so this is gonna go here. Just make sure it lines up with your page. Okay, then my second piece. And this is just gonna go right underneath that other kind of piece that we just glued down. Again, just make sure it lines up. Then the next piece. Right, and then my last piece, and then we're gonna do the closure. Now with the closure, I am gonna add magnets, but I'm not gonna add them to both sides just yet. You guys are gonna see what I'm gonna do, and that's because for something like this, that's gonna have a lot of paper added to this, to each one of these layers, possibly even front and back. I don't like to add in the other piece like with a magnet closure just yet, because I want to add it in once all the bulk on the other pages is added in. So for that piece, you're going to need something that measures 5 1/4 by 4 inches. On the 5 1/4 inch side, you're going to score at 1/2 inch. So I'm just going to go ahead and burnish that, and then I'm going to glue it down. And you can round these corners on these pieces if you'd like. I am sticking everything down, but I could still round it later. And I'm adding this onto this side, making sure it's in the middle. Again, you can measure. I am eyeballing just what looks like the middle. Okay, getting that stuck down. So this is gonna keep this closed. So your magnet is gonna go here. I think I did 1 magnet there. So I'm just gonna use the 1/2 inch magnet. Okay, and I'm just gonna take out 2. And I like how they put like a separator. Between the 1/4 inch one, there is no separator, but between the larger ones, there's like a little separator, so that you can get your magnets kind of together. And even look at that, that separator, you know, is kind of thick and they still stick together. I love these magnets. I'm very impressed by them, you guys. I love them. They're like a game changer for me now. Not only do they work great, but they are so much cheaper. So for this, you can add the magnet on the outside. I'm gonna be doing it on the inside here. Hold on. So actually what you can do, I mean, you could add the magnet on top of this also, like once you have a placement, you could add the tape on top of it. I'm just gonna add my tape underneath, but sometimes I do on top. I mean, I do both ways, whatever I'm in the mood for. So that's gonna go right there. Then the next piece, I'm just gonna make a longer piece, gonna lay it right here. Wait. Oh no, I did that wrong. That was supposed to go on top. Hold on, doing my magnet placement wrong. So I want it to go on top because the way that this is gonna close is gonna be on top. Okay, hold on. So I want this to go underneath this page right here. So I just made a little boo-boo, but that's okay. Okay, so I got another little piece of tape here, but I just put my magnet. Oh, it's trying to attach to the other ones. Okay, so I'm probably gonna do something right here. Okay, add your magnet. Okay, and then for the other magnet, I have this longer piece of tape. I'm just gonna lay it on top and let this magnet fall into its place. And then what I would do is then close this up. Now actually I can attach it. I could always move it later if I need to. Normally I would just kind of like sit that magnet right there. I didn't press down hard enough. I would just let it sit there until I add in the rest of the papers because I don't want the added bulk, but I guess we're adding it in now. So that's it. So stick that down and now you have your little magnet piece there as well. Okay, so that was page 1. Page 2, I'm gonna take my other base page. Now we're gonna move on to page 3. So page 3 has a little bit more elements in here. So you're gonna take the first piece. This measures 7 1/4 by 6 inches, and then on the 7 1/4 inch side, you're gonna score at 1/2 inch. So I'm gonna go ahead and burnish that. And this is going to go onto the left-hand side. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue this. And I'm just lining it up onto my base page on the left. All right, so that's glued down and I have that flap open. Now the next piece you're gonna need measures 6 1/2 by 6. This is again for a 6 by 6 size cut apart, a little teeny bit cropped down. On the 6 1/2 inch side, you're gonna score at 1/2 inch. So I'm gonna go ahead and burnish that. And this I'm adding to the right hand side. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and glue this down. Okay, then I'm gonna open this up. On the inside here, I'm gonna have a pocket. That pocket is gonna measure a little bit shorter than 8 1/2 inches by 3. And I have that here. I scored on 3 sides. So two on both sides on the 8 1/2 inch side and on one side on the 3 inch side. And I'm just gonna go ahead and miter these corners. And then I'm gonna fold, and I don't think no, I didn't do a notch in here either. So if you're gonna add in a notch, you could do that now, you could do it later. Normally with notches, I like to do it with the with the pocket, with the paper at the same time. But I'm not doing notches, so I could glue these down. So first you're gonna do a dry fit. Make sure that fits, and make sure you can still close your pages comfortably. That's why we do a little bit shorter than 8.5 and score at each side by flipping it. So I'm pretty sure mine works well. Let me just double check again. Yeah, mine works well. Again, if yours is a little bit too long, just make another little score line. I am noticing though that I have some overhang here, so I need to cut off some more to get rid of some, well, not overhang, but get rid of some of that bulk so that these corners don't overlap. Okay, so I just got rid of some of that, and then I'm gonna add in my glue on the bottom piece, and then we'll add in some tape. Again, as you're gluing this, make sure again that your pages close and they're not that your pocket's not too big. Okay, so I'm gonna stick that down. Then I'm gonna add in more tape. Okay, get that stuck down. You're trying to not press in the center part where the pages kind of got glued together. Don't press down there. And then I'm adding more glue to the side tabs so we can get this stuck down. Okay, and then this closes and this closes. Obviously we need some more magnets here. So I don't know, this is a big page also. I'm gonna do the 3/8 inch size. Let's do the 3/8 inch size this time. You guys get to see all these magnets in use. So I'm gonna grab 2 again. Oh, actually no, I needed 4, not 2. Okay, so I'm gonna add magnets here and here. So again, just grab like a piece of tape. I'm gonna add one here, and then I'll add one right here. See, it's really no big deal if the magnets don't have adhesive on them. They do also have magnets with adhesive, but I believe the price goes up. And I honestly, it doesn't make a difference to me whether they have adhesive or not. The only thing, no, actually this is fine. So I'm gonna add my magnet there. I'm gonna put the other one on top just so I don't lose it right now. And then another one right here. And then there's the one that goes on top. And like I said, you could either put in the full piece of tape underneath it, or you could put a square of tape on the outside of it to get glued down to the other side. So I'll show you guys this way now. Okay, so then I put down the double-sided tape. I'm gonna peel back my tape. Okay, and I'm gonna fold this down and press down on the magnets. Don't press down too much around the magnets, but just press down on them. Make sure those get stuck down, and there we go. So there's my magnets for that. Then on top of this page right here, we're also gonna add in a belly band. So you're gonna need a piece that measures 4 inches by 7 inches tall. You're gonna score at 1/2 inch on both sides along the 7-inch side. So 1/2 inch on both of those sides. And go ahead and burnish. Okay, this is gonna get added to this page right here. And I'm just kind of trying to eyeball it into the center again. And you're looking at the center of this page, not the center of the whole entire thing. Okay, so that looks good. And then you're gonna get some glue on this other tab as well. And when you add in your paper, you're gonna slide in your paper underneath and like go across the whole entire thing. So you're gonna slide it underneath the belly band. Okay, then you're gonna need 2 pieces that measure 5 inches by 2.5 inches. These are gonna be 2 pockets that are gonna go onto here, onto that piece right there. So for one of the pieces, well, for both pieces, we're gonna need to miter the corners actually. So let me miter the corners, but the folding part on the 2 pieces is a little different. So go ahead and miter. Did I mention you have to score on 3 sides? So you have to score along the 5-inch side on 1/2 inch on both sides, and along the 2.5 inch side, just a 1/2 inch one time. So I have those pieces there now. So one piece, you're only gonna burnish the 2 side pieces. You're gonna leave that bottom piece, okay? We're not folding that. On the other piece, you're gonna fold and burnish on all the 3 sides, on all the score lines. Okay, so this piece that has all the burnished sides, you're gonna go ahead and glue that bottom to the bottom of your belly band. Okay, I like to do my tape. So even though this is a smaller pocket, I'm still doing that. Okay, so I'm just adding my tape. And then I'm gonna put glue on the sides. Okay, and I'm gonna get that stuck down. Okay, now for this piece, you're only gonna add glue on the sides. This allows you to put in whatever you want in the back, and it's gonna go all the way down. So the pocket is not like limited. Here, I mean, I guess you could too, but here, if I was to add in a smaller pocket and fold that, then I would only have this space to add in something. This way, this piece slides in there, and the kind of score line acts as a guide for where this goes down to, and then you just glue along the sides. So that way when you add something in here, it can go all the way down. So you could have a full piece that goes all the way down behind that. Okay, so that is page 3. And again, you have this here that opens up like so. Then page 4, this is the last page. You're just gonna need 2 pieces that measure 6 inches by or 11 inches by 6 inches, so 11 wide by 6 inches tall. And you're gonna score both pieces first at 1/2 inch, 4 1/4, and then 7 7/8. So both pieces are gonna get scored that way. So I'm gonna go ahead and burnish the 1/2 inch. Okay, then I'm gonna keep folding this in towards each other, and then this piece inside that one. So they're all getting folded in that same direction. So that will fold inside there, this will fold inside here, and then this piece kind of gets glued down. Same thing with this one, fold all in the same direction. Okay, So then essentially you get something that looks like this. Actually, was I supposed to do the same direction? Yeah, because I want that folded into there. Okay, so now this is the easy part. It's just kind of get glued down where that 1/2 inch or like that 1/2 inch tab is. That gets glued down on the one side, and the other one goes the other direction, gets glued down on this side. And these should fit perfectly right here. You are going to need magnets for this as well, or you have the option to like add in a different kind of closure. Like you can add in like a belly band. I'm going to show you guys in a second. So what I did with mine is I just did magnets, because now that they're cheaper magnets, I'm like, yeah, I could use all the magnets. So I just added magnets to both sides here. Yeah, I have one magnet here and then one magnet on the other side there. So I just added magnets. But what you can do, you could add in like a belly band if you wanted like a strip. So this would get glued down here, right? You would add in a belly band, like a little piece, maybe a scrap of paper that you have, add it on both sides, or however big your cut apart inside is going to be. Just add a piece on both sides, and then you could slide in your cut apart through both of those to keep it closed. So that's an option as well. Okay, and this is going to get glued down on this side. And because all of this folds into each other, it's not a Z fold, because I didn't fold it in different directions. So when I add my magnets, like let's say I'm going to use the 3/8 inch, let me grab 4 magnets here. Okay, so I'm going to add just a magnet here, and that's going to still keep the rest closed because it folds into each other. So I'm going to add in a magnet like right here. Okay, so that's going to get folded in there. And there we go. We've got that magnet, and then just the same thing on the other side. And then these black pieces, if you wanted to use that as like added dimension in a project, like a small amount of dimension, you could do that. I mean, I throw mine out, but you can totally use them in something. If like instead of chipboard, you could use that for like added dimension and height in projects. All right, so then press that down. And now I have both of these. I totally forgot to add in the other magnet, didn't I? I'm like, why is it not sticking? There we go. All right, so there's that one, and then there's this one. So now all you have to do when you go to add these 2 signatures into your album, I'm not going to add them in yet because I like to do my pages first before I do add them in. But I'm going to show you guys. So all you would do after you decorate everything, you're going to peel back like a piece of this tape. Okay. You're then going to slide in this where it opens, that pocket kind of opens. You're going to slide it onto that hinge, and then you would press down, and you could see I would be leaving some space here. You could do a little bit less if you'd like, but you do want to leave some space there. Then you would peel back the rest of the tape, then flip it, go in and peel back the rest of the tape on the other side. But like I said, I'm not adding these in right now, so I'm just going to close that back up because I want to add in my pattern papers first. So I hope this was a quick and easy tutorial, or like fairly easy enough. It does come together quickly. It's just the tutorial always seems so long because I'm explaining everything from start to finish and going over everything. But I promise this is like a easier, quicker one because it is only 2 signatures. So when I made mine, it came together quickly. I got to use up some of my larger cut-up parts and things like that. Oh, on top of that, there's one more thing, you guys. If you want to add in pockets, like I did here on the front and I did the back, you're just going to need a piece that measures 8.5 by 2 3/4. On the 8.5 inch side, you're going to score it 1/2 inch on both sides, and then you're going to turn it. And on the 2 3/4 inch side, you're going to score it 1/2 inch one time. Obviously, miter your corners, and then you're going to add in all your pattern paper here first, and then these will go on later. I designed it so that they don't go all the way to the bottom. I didn't want them to go all the way to the bottom. I wanted some of that border of the pattern paper everywhere. So that's the way that I kind of designed them. But yes, you would miter these corners just the same as we did with all our other pockets. You can still add your tape. Just make sure your tape is not bigger than the pocket itself, especially because this is going on top and the pattern paper is not getting added in underneath it. So yes, those would just be my pockets. But I hope this was a fun tutorial. Like I said, it comes together fairly quickly when you're actually doing all the paper matting and stuff, because it only has the 2 signatures. If you want to see the full project share flip through, check out the description box down below. Also check out all the links that I have listed for you guys between the glue that I use, the magnets, the chipboard, the tape, and all that stuff in case you guys want to do this exactly the same way. And of course, you could check out the description to go get your cutting guide as well, so where you guys can then follow along with the cutting guide and all the measurements and whatnot. So there is 4 pages for this. So yeah. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in my next crafty video. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.